Hello, fellow engineers, and welcome back to From the Depths, Laser Plane Refit. Today, we're going to be continuing the laser plane refitting that we started with, rather. Perhaps you may have seen the slightly insane breadboard pierce laser calculations that I was attempting to do a couple of minutes ago. We're going to be continuing now that I have compiled a small list of activities that we need to get done based off of what we learned previously. Just as a quick recap. We learned that from combat testing, interceptors need to be fast enough to catch up to the craft that's actually firing them. You may have seen during combat testing that this thing, the pop-up interceptors that showed up right here, it fired them, but then they kind of lagged behind the airplane and weren't able to actually intercept the missiles. So, not ideal. We should fix that. Next up, we really want to be flying above 140 meters per second and circling 2 kilometers away from our target and bobbing up and down. This will, in fact, shake off not only most low-caliber APS fire, so advanced cannons, especially cram cannons, anything like that, but it will also probably shake off railguns. In the combat testing I did by myself between a couple of Dragon Forces and the Tier, the Dragon Forces were actually able to shake off most of the fire that was coming from the Tier's main railguns, and those things traveled at 1,500 meters per second. So, evasion is no joke. We should invest in it. Likewise, we should also probably invest in flares and missile interceptors. Now, we do have interceptors, but as we talked about just now, they need to actually work. These are still at very low thrust and don't really catch up to the missiles, so we're going to have to fix that, and we might add some flares too. In addition, our vehicle is very thin-skinned. You saw it get one shot by the squirrels and get absolutely peppered by the Scourge. The Scourge couldn't land all the hits, even though we were relatively slow, so we will be more evasive once we design our vehicle properly, but it could land just enough that it became a problem and it was able to pierce our internals. That ends now. Oh, and of course, we will also be investing in planar shields, just so that we can get that extra bit of armored protection. So with all that out of the way, let's begin. We're going to be starting off with probably what is one of the easier refits we can do, which is the engine systems. Right now we have access to 27,000 engine power, which you may notice, hey, that's less than we had before. And you're correct, because if you look at the Laserbird Block 6... Oh, we should put them in combat. Get a enemy. Let's get a superior combat vessel and watch the Laserbird blow it apart. Because why not? The Laserbird Block 6 normally has access to 42,000 engine power. Unfortunately, this is coming right out of the jet engines. As you can see here, the jet engine generator is siphoning off half of our engine power as soon as we enter combat, leaving us only with about 77,000 thrust per engine. If we're keeping track, 77,677 thrust per engine times 4. That'll be important later. And as you remember, this is about 15,000 thrust per material and 900 thrust per volume. Oh, is the Marauder dead? Yeah, the Marauder has disintegrated. Let's give it another one. So, that's why this thing... Wait, already? No. Yes? The Marauder's AI dead. Okay, that was quick. Another one. This is exactly what the Laserbird's supposed to do, by the way. One-shot stuff by going right through all of the armor in one clean hit. Anyways. 120 meters per second is honestly way too slow, as is circling at 1,000 meters per second. That is way too close. If you fly close and slow, you're going to get hit. We do not want that. So we are going to increase evasion, and we're going to increase our defensive power with shields and extra armor. I have already begun some of the work with the Laserbird Block 7 prototype we see right here. I have also changed the camouflage to Camo Naval 5, because I like this digital pattern. Now, let's take a look on the inside. Now we can produce 187,563 thrust all the time. And we are producing that at a relatively lower 12,000 thrust per material. So I guess that gives you some idea. We increased our thrust per volume by about 200, but we decreased our thrust per material by about 3,000. But we can get some of the losses back because we no longer need these jet generators because they're operating at 0 right now. Okay, that's a little bit better. Hey, we just increased our thrust per volume by another, by 40, and we increased our thrust per material by 400. I'd call that a success. Now we're producing 194,480 thrust. And all from placing a single block on each of these engines. Now, spawning in another Marauder. We are now starving for power, because this is no longer enough to power any of the existing systems. The Laserbird Block 1 had a massive steam engine. This one runs on fuel engines, and it is not enough. So, how are we going to fix this problem? We are going to rip out these fuel engines. First of all, though, we should take a look at their performance stats. 800 power per material is very high, and 40 power per volume is also not very high. So that's 794 and 40 power per volume. We also have massive internal voids in here, which is unused volume that is in the vehicle but is not being used for anything. So, what do we say? Let's take all this out and replace it with something that's a little bit better. Bam. Now I have 0 engine power. But I just happen to have already prepared something for this occasion. In the steam engine section, I have discovered something that I believe came from an old Steam platform that I was unfortunately not able to find. However, it is very handy, and I will teach you how it works. This is a 5x5 steam engine. Under load, it should produce approximately 22,000 engine power, which actually, well, why don't we just run the engines at max right now and give it a whirl, shall we? You can test engines via signal jammer ECMs, which we'll do right now because we're doing this live. This 5x5 engine produces nearly as much power as that entire bank of fuel engines did. It is a 2-stage steam engine. Essentially, you see a massive bank of steam boilers. They kind of look like little sausages, honestly. They pipe themselves into one corner. Let me reveal important blocks only. Into, let's see, into this set of steam pistons. This L shape of small pistons driving a small crank that produces 10,000 engine power. You can see 10 pressure going in, 4 pressure going out. The output valves, which are right here in the center corner, then get fed all the way up here into another bank of other steam pistons. They are taking in 4 pressure. However, interestingly enough, they can also produce 11,000 engine power. Quite interesting, that. I did not know they would do that. I've kind of always assumed that steam engines would... steam engines taking in the second stage would produce less power, but apparently not. These produce the exact same amount of power at the exact same shaft kinetic energy of 3742. Not quite sure what the energy is, but it doesn't really matter. The point is, we've got power for days, especially if we extend this out, which we kind of need to do because this is still less power than the original configuration. So, easy method. Take the front end, copy it, move it back. Let's move it all the way. Now let's move it all the way over here, just as a start. We don't really know how much steam we're going to need, but for now, I think it's just going to be easiest to add whatever we want and then truncate it later. Okay, how much power does that give us now? Ramp this up, ramp this up. Is something not working? Something's not working. Okay, that's my bad, folks. Why is something not working? Is it because I placed it down mirrored? Let me see. Putting down the prefab. Okay, not quite sure why that didn't work. Let's see what the power is once that builds back up. Just doing another double check to make sure that all the steam components are in order. Something seems a bit off. Are we low on steam? Because this should not be happen. Okay, yeah. Oh, I see the problem. Yeah, that's all end pieces. Okay, let me fix that real quick. Oh, not like that. Don't want to mirror that. Impromptu bug fixing, folks. Gotta love it. Oh, and there's problems everywhere. You know what? It's probably best if we just start over real quick and make sure that we get a clean slate. This is the mini steam engine. Plop it down. By the way, I'm pretty sure this prefab is not mine, but just so you know, some of the prefabs that I did make aren't even labeled as mine. That's how it goes. I think it's because I clean reinstalled from this computer once before, and From the Depths recognized me as a different Steam ID than the one I walked in with, even though it's the same account. Anyways. Yeah, it turns out that the front end of the Steam setup is actually 2 blocks long, because you need to account for this little end piece over here. So we're going to delete that. Then we're going to copy, copy, copy. Let's see, how much power can we generate now? Hopefully, this is actually a accurate reading this time. Now we have 53,717 engine power, which is quite a lot. We can do a lot with that power. First up on the order of business, I think, is to give these turrets deflection shields, because oh boy, do they need that. But first, we need to make sure that the turrets can actually survive EMP surges. Always good to test. First of all, it seems like this is EMP susceptible, which is no good. EMP cannot travel diagonally between blocks. It can only travel like the snake in the hit game Snake. So we need to figure out what's going on here. If I had a surge protector, we should be able to see whether there's a conductive path or whether the EMP just has nowhere to go and is thugging it out. Okay, there we go. With the... Okay, if... It's able to travel through cameras. Oh, we're out of materials. Better add some so we don't fall out of the sky. And I'm gonna take the block 6 out of play for now because we're not using it. Okay. Why is this happening? Easy test. What if we just remove these cameras to see if they were the connector problem? Yeah, okay. So I guess EMP does travel through cameras. The more you know. That's slightly irritating, but it does inform our designs. And as you can see, laser components here are not vulnerable to EMP. Interesting that. They only reduce EMP damage. The component that's susceptible to EMP is... not the cavities, but the pumps. They have 40% EMP susceptibility. So guard your pumps. At this small of a form factor, I honestly decided that it wasn't worth making a 100% EMP-proof vehicle, so I just added localized surge protection and hoped that that would do the trick. It also does help that the surge protectors have 100% EMP susceptibility, so they should be more yummy to any EMP signals that come through us. Now then. More investigation. What else have we got to do? I don't like the fact that there's just unprotected connectors here. That seems very fragile. So I'd like to address that if I can. Let's see what we can do. We will add a coating of rubber around here, and probably switch this over to, not heavy armor, but at least metal. This is a very compact turret, and I quite like the design, but it is a little bit weak. Now, we should be able to leverage this, however, in order to install a shield protector somewhere here, now that we've EMP insulated this general area. Oh, by the way, we can't see here. The wireless transceiver has been surrounded on all sides by rubber. Back, forward, left, right, bottom. And this top area is insulated as well. Now, where to put the shield? I can't really put it here because that's EMP susceptible. So I think the best solution is for us to move this back a little bit. Move this up, prefab this, delete all of this. Move this back. Add the shield protector right here. And let's just get the setup right now. We want max range, max width, max height. We probably don't need max height, actually. And then, yeah, that's upside down right now, which is going to bother me slightly. There we go. That's pretty nice. And it's only 600 power, which is a lot less than I would expect. Admittedly, this doesn't quite cover the upper side, so you know what? Yeah, let's raise the height a little bit. There we go. Now it's 900 power. But it is kind of protected from all angles. Now, we do want to increase the insulation now to cover this shield projector, so we don't get zapped out into oblivion. And you know what? We can afford a little token bit of heavy armor over here, because these components are very important, and we do not want them getting shot up. I'm stingy. I'm going to use heavy armor block for that. But still, a heavy armor block has 50% more armor content and just under 4 times the health. So, pretty good protection all around. Alright, get that painted up a little bit. Next item, the insulation over here. You know what, actually, now that we've got this arrangement, this might be a good place to put a rangefinder. A rangefinder, unlike some of the other gimbal trackers, for example, let's see. The rangefinder is really nice because it has 1% range error, but 0.05% bearing error. And lasers really do care about their bearing. Increase detection 5 times per second, which admittedly is not very fast, however, but still, should be fast enough. Let's see. Where does this put us? Let's zap it with some EMP to... What just came off? Okay, seems like we're fine. I do want to know what flew off there, though. Oh, it's going into the turret. It's going into the main vehicle and removing the pumps. That's not ideal. We probably want more EMP protection then. Let's add some surge projectors down here and see if that helps a little. Now, we're still losing pumps, but that should at least somewhat mitigate the issue. We are really only able to have partial addressing of the EMP problem as of now, unfortunately, because of the way our craft is built. It's not like the Dragon Force, which has stone all over it, unfortunately. But that is a modified turret, which with some slightly more protection. We probably will want to distribute the other detection systems across the vehicle now. That's just a good idea in general, honestly. Next item. We've got the power. We added one piece of shielding. We do definitely want some more. So, let's get that. I would like to add reactive shields at some point. You know, shields that only turn on when the enemy facing a specific direction. So I'm going to start naming the shields for that purpose in a bit. First, though, I do want to create something that should help us later. Essentially, shields need to be buried inside of the craft and EMP insulated. So, I have already created, as a reference, an insulated detection subsystem. Let me bring that up for us. This is an insulated wireless receiver. Oh, I think that's the wrong one. This is an insulated radar 360. It is already mimicked to mimic the surrounding look of the metal. Oh. There we go. I guess we do need to adjust that mimic a little bit. Not that it's visible right now. But it is also surrounded, as you will see in a second, by rubber pieces, so that it can... There's rubber in here. You have to trust my word on it. So that it can avoid getting zapped, because nobody likes to get zapped. There was a void here. We're going to use this as a template for our shield projectors. Essentially replace that, swap that out. We could probably get rid of this deco, honestly. Because we do not want the shield projectors to be outside anyways. Next up, we can make sure that our shield projector is facing the right way. So, like, this direction. Shield projector. Just get that a little bit out. Very large. And in charge. And we're going to need another little piece over here. And surround that with metal. That's alloy. Metal, please. Okay. Now we're going to prefab that in this specific direction. We're going to put that under the armor as an insulated shield projector. And save it. Let's take a look at our armor situation. A lot of the time, it's just 2 layers of metal, and if we're lucky, essentially an air gap / slope solution of metal wedges, beam slopes, which is, again, not the best. I think we do much better. Even if we just shove heavy armor beam slopes in here, that would immediately increase our protection significantly. With that in mind, I believe this back part is going to probably be heavy armor beam slope backing. So I'm just going to preemptively add that in right now. Let's see, where would this be? The shield would probably be right here, and then that would be on the outside, which... We could also remove a laser pump in order to bury the shield further inwards in this specific situation, although that might make the engineering of this specific solution a little bit more convoluted. I'm not going to keep things too complicated for now. We're just going to stick with a plug-and-play solution. Beam slopes in the back. Doesn't matter that they're conductive because our situation is insulated already. Actually, you know what? Let's add a surge protector here. The heavy armor should immediately conduct everything to the surge protector instead of our fancy electronics. Alright, now we've got this little prefab. Insulated shield projector. We can start plopping this down. Does this say... yeah. You'll have to trust me on this. The Laserbird was not made by somebody else. It was made by me. If the real do belong is out in the comment section, it comes to me for plagiarism. Okay, let's see. You can see there's a shield projector. There are the heavy armor beam slopes. Can't place your shield projector one block in because there's the beam slopes and we'd compromise the protection in that direction. Still, though, we are a little bit vulnerable in that one spot, but I guess we'll have to see if that becomes a problem in the combat testing. Let's delete that section, add a shield projector here, see if the shields come on. They do, albeit they're a bit flickering because of the sensor scramblers doing their work. Let's turn those off just so that we can actually see what's going on. We know that we have a budget of 50,000 engine power, and we can adjust that at will. Lower the height a little bit. Nope, more height. Elevation. Nice and slanted. Maybe just a little bit more height so that we can make sure that it actually reaches. There we go. This thing uses 1,600 engine power. Layering shields, by the way, does absolutely nothing, but some of you in the room may have known that already. Now we're going to add another set for the back. Oh, that's... nope, that's the right way around. We're good. That's gonna annoy me a little bit, though. Can we move that back any further back? Like right here. I do admit this is a little bit unsightly. And the rubber's right in front, which is not the most ideal. How conductive is a jet engine part? Because the alternative would just be putting it right up to it. Yeah, it basically doesn't actually do anything there, so not the best idea if we're going for total EMP proofing. Let's just see what we can do with this then. Yeah, we're still getting a little bit of overlap, but I suppose the better way to solve that would be to decrease the width over here. Alright, again, this thing is supposed to be broadsiding at 2 kilometers away, so that's going to inform how the shields are integrated. Let's add another cluster over here. Nope, that's slightly off. So we're going to have to shift it back 4 meters and move it over here. Adding an insulated shield protector section now. Perfect. Adjusting. Okay. Another section rounds about here. Oh, but look at that. There's already a set of shield protectors over here. Why don't we just insulate these then? Because they're not insulated right now. They could very easily get zapped, which we do not want. Oh, that's the outside already. Again, very not ideal. Can we fix that? Put them 1 block in instead. Surrounds it with non-conductive materials. Alright, now maybe we should slant it a little bit. The nose honestly doesn't hold anything important. The pilot. We should probably protect the pilot, just in case, because, you know, they are pretty important, actually. Let's see. Yeah, that's our shield coverage for now. I wouldn't say that's too bad. We should raise the height over here, just in case. And add a pair of shields over here. Boy, isn't EMP so annoying? This is what I have to put up with, because we invented the power to disrupt electrical systems, and that's the window. Okay, I'm gonna fix that later. Probably going to have to use some some decorations. Maybe shields. Put them down. Oh. That's not the best coverage. Okay, that works in our favor, actually. That means that, you know what, I don't think we can insulate these, but that's okay, because some shields is better than no shields anyway. Elevate chin. Adjust the azimuth a little bit to make it match a little bit more, and there we go. That looks pretty nice. How much power do you reckon this thing drains? Well, I guess we could pump them up to 10 with some generic block setting and a bit with the breadboards, and that'll get things sorted right there. First, though, we do need to copy the ones on the left to the ones on the right. All I have to do is invert the azimuth, and everything else should be the same. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I don't want azimuth over there. I want more height. Copy that. Paste that over here. Copy that. Paste that over here. copy that, paste that over here. Okay, we are fully shielded. Pretty much. So let's make these shields transparent so they're not ugly, but not so transparent we can't see them. Because we do want to know if they work. Do you have no fuel access? Yes, we do. Okay, next step. We should swap out all of these not quite strong enough metal triangles for heavy armor triangles. Yeah, we could probably afford to replace that one. And besides, even if we did replace that one, we should probably add back heavy armor protection, surf protection in front of it. Oh, by the way, now that all of this is located, covered in heavy armor, this entire area is now extremely conductive. So, this 4-meter surf protector, for example, will protect that entire zone. Now we just have to figure out where the best area to put that surf protection is. I think maybe, let's just arbitrarily say right here. Maybe right on the upper side, because generally speaking, we don't take too many attacks from above. Okay, now we just polish up this a little bit, get that done. How much power are our shields using? Let's set them all to strength 10. We can just do that with an ACB real quick for testing. Shield projectors, set drive factor 10. If all of the shields are on, we should expect 70,000 power usage. Well, I guess we do gotta count ourselves lucky that we added some extra engine power, because we definitely need that extra engine power. This is bugging me too. I'm going to switch this little inverted triangle to metal. Yeah, that's a deco. Is it a deco? Why is it a deco? Well, I'm deleting it. And these two alloy ducts, we should replace them with metal ducts. There we go. This still looks a little bit unsightly, so I'm going to do the best I can to solve that. I will increase the wing extension all the way back. Three, two, one. And we do need that, so I'm just going to deco this in. Okay. Might as well also make that cover this little rubber piece as well. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Scale it. There we go. And apply with mirror so it goes on the other side. Okay. Now we've got moderately more armor. Actually, did we armor up it? Did we armor it up all to the front? Oh, this section needs some wedging. Some extra heavy armor wedges. Some heavy armor beam slopes, I mean. My bad. That's the decorative part, but I can add some beam slopes here. And since this area is already EMP insulated, we can add some heavy armor beam slopes there too. And we'll place this with a surge protector. Okay, things are looking up. What else have we got to get settled here? We definitely want to integrate that. The sonar buoy deployer is kind of just sitting here right now. We should put it into the hull once we figure out the best place for it. Right now, I don't want to make any decisive moves because I don't know whether we're going to need any more engine or not. Or if we're going to stick something else in there, who knows. We are probably up on cost, aren't we? We are now at 221,000 materials. Kind of expected. We did add a bunch of stuff. Okay. Our turret has been sorted out. Our armor has been improved. We have higher propulsion. Let's take a look at our laser system. Again, 18,150 damage per shot. But you know what? I think we can do better. I think we should add destabilizers to every single one of these cavities to potentially double the alpha damage we can do. I think that would be very fun and educational. So, let's see. Laser systems. Essentially, the laser destabilizer increases the amount of cavity energy that we will use in one shot. For example, this shot will use 10%. Add it. Now it... Oh, that's the wrong place. We were running a spin block. Add it, and we will now use 19% energy. Add another one, 27% energy. For now, I'm going to stick with the relatively conservative 19% energy, because that will immediately double our damage potential. We will have to get rid of all these extra redundant pumps, though, because they no longer have a place to connect to, mildly decreasing our power draw. Oh, hang on, what was that? Oh. Is this... Are we encroaching on the armor? Yeah, I guess we are. Yeah, let's keep the armor and ditch the pumps. Okay, get rid of that, get rid of that. Swap this out. Remove all these pumps. Alright, now all of these use 19% power. Let's move on to over here. You will just... Let's see. Yeah, you can see the lasers were kind of just stuffed every which way, but this entire system really helped us here because at least barring these, every single one of these cavities has the same... about the same pump to storage ratio, which means they'll fill back up at the exact same time, and we won't waste any time. Nonetheless, when I chose between wasting time and wasting volume, I decided that we should just stick as much laser in here as possible, which is why we have these weird line-shaped ones. Although, I suppose if you want to be pedantic, you could remove the destabilizers from these and just add some storage cavities, because why not? No, this one has 3 pumps per storage, so we should add a destabilizer to this. Okay, unless I missed some, all of our lasers should now be dealing about double damage. Draining the energy twice as fast. Nope, not these. Fixing. 30,000 damage. Just making sure. Is that all of our... Oh, what's this? 10%? Why are we draining only 10% and we could be draining... Oh, I see. It's because this is a normal cavity, but it kind of just tapered down here. I see, I see. Fixing that now. There we go. That's draining 19%. That's all draining 19%. Everything should be draining 19% now. Which means we should now be able to deal about double the Alpha Strike damage. 32,000 is not the same as 17,000. Let me see. 17,000 times 1.9 is... Oh, okay. Yeah. We should expect about 32,000 damage. Well, this is excellent. Now we have double the damage. We are going to use it twice as fast, but this will allow us to attack larger enemies without suffering damage losses. Although I guess we better attack larger enemies because we are now 220,000 materials, unless we decide to downsize. Let's do some combat testing first. Let's attack a Lightning Hood's Angstrom. It's a missile boat. It's a very large missile boat, but if our protection is good enough, or dodging anyways, we should be able to outrun all the missiles. There go the interceptors. I think they're not going quite fast enough, though. Oh, where are they going? Yep. Those missiles are trying to cut us off, and miraculously they all missed. Oh. I shouldn't have said that. What got lost there? Why am I not able to defocus? Okay. That's fine. Actually, I am... Okay, there we go. I had to exit avatar mode. If we take a look... Yep, the Angstrom is now waterlogged. It can no longer move. You're dealing 16,000 damage per shot. Probably making very nice little holes in this thing, although they don't go all the way out. Let me patch this guy up. Oh, look at that damage. Let's see, what did we lose there? We did not lose the shield projector. How serendipitous. We did lose the surrounding rubber, though. Did we lose any shields? No, we didn't. We are in space now, though. Why are we in space? Let's restart the designer and try this again. Side effect of being such a large plane is that Laserbird doesn't seem to be able to get enough lift to get off the ground, unless I give it a little bit of help. But that's okay, because it'll spawn higher up in the air anyways. I'm going to see if this helps, by the way, but I'm also going to insert a pair of radar decoys to fool the Angstrom's active radar seekers into chasing our tail instead. This should make the missiles lead worse. Although, I might try some spin block cheese, provided that that's not considered cheating later, but we'll see. There we go. Radar decoys. Nice. Angstrom, get over here. Let's fight. Oh, and we just dealt 40,000 damage. Can I see what blocks came off? Where's the entrance? Is this where the laser went in? Alright, went in here, destroyed that, destroyed some heavy armor, zapped some laser components. Oh, that's a lot of damage. And it's AI dead. Wowie zowie. I did not expect that. Let's see, can we dodge these? Man. These guys have really good leading prediction, and they probably should have hit us. That's going to be a persistent problem, I think. possibly only solvable by improving our missile interception system. So, let's see. Oh, look at that, they retracted. Just as intended. Now it's time to test that, I guess. Let's see, we have the medium launchers here. Let's just triple the thrust. See what happens. And this one. Let's see, we should probably, yeah. Okay, so it's ignoring anything outside 7,800 meters. Let's make it ignore anything outside 1,000 meters. I guess we can try different distances now, actually. Like 1,200. Let's try again. Look at that, zapping jets like it's no one's business. Okay, the missiles ran out of juice. Are these gonna run out of juice? I don't understand why they can't hit us, but I'm not complaining. Nope, not complaining. We might want to go like a little bit faster, just a little. Are these interceptors going to do their work? Did they? Okay. Let's get those interceptors ran out of juice. But, hey, now we have a laser that can reliably one-shot the angstrom. Well, not one-shot, but completely skewer the angstrom from the inside. Just like that, we've trivialized a moderately difficult missile boat from the Lightning Hoods. Okay, are these loaded? They're loaded. Are they gonna fire? I don't have any munition mortars up here. That's a problem. I should add some. Oh, it's because I told them to ignore anything above 200 meters. That was a minor design oversight. Gotta fix that. Oh, something exploded. Uh, 300 meters. Copy. Copy, yep, pasted that. Okay, there we go. I'm not going to change the bottom one because... actually, yeah, let's change the bottom one. Why 196,000 materials now? Oh, it's because we lost a bunch of stuff. We probably don't need these missiles. I was just putting these here because, fun fact, this one, the small one, costs 1,000 materials. And the big one costs 3,200 materials. But they do the same thing. It's just that for the big one, you have to pay for 3 extra launchers for 2,400 materials. Is it 2,400? Let's see. The math doesn't quite add up. Yeah. 1,800 extra materials. Because you're firing a large missile. It doesn't make as much of a difference once you know, actually use a missile system instead of a flare system, but large flares probably aren't the most economical for you. Unless you're making, like, really large flares. Let's have it fight our old enemy, the Scourge. In fact, just for funsies, I'll spawn it a kilometer in so it has a shot at us. It's our first shot, but that shot immediately detonated something. What blew off there? Rams. I think that was a magazine. Ammo detonation. Gotta love pierce lasers. Nice center shot. Didn't really do much, though. Yeah, it seems like the Scourge does have smoke, so we're not skewering it like we did with the Angstrom. It's a moderately armored little ship. But, can it actually hit us? No, it really can't. I find that extremely hilarious. Oh, its missiles got damaged. And now it's reloading. Let's see, how much damage are we pumping out with each laser shot? Yep, 30,000. As we should. Starting some fires. No turret hits yet, though. I guess it is just kind of the luck of the draw in that regard. Oh, what's that? We hit the engine. Was that? That was the AI components. So the Scourge is on fire in several important places, but it's not really down yet. Oh, that was a cannon shot. Didn't quite take it out, though. So, the Scourge isn't reloading. Is it because it has no ammo left? Oh, yeah, we set its ammo tanks off. We destroyed its magazines during the opening volley. How's that for a lucky shot? We're at 16% armor cost now? Is that accurate? I don't believe the armor cost actually updates until you restart. You pull it out and you pull the craft out and you put it back into play, I mean. Just for the funsies, let's give it back all the way up to full health and see if we can get some more crits on it. Yep, so I guess the Scourge is shielded and smoked, so even though we're shooting 30,000 damage shots at it, it can tank it. How vexing. So though, it's doing nothing to us, so I can't complain too much. I guess Pierce Weapon's major downside is that it is kind of the luck of the draw of what you will actually hit, because in this case, we did not hit the main magazines, and it is fully operational against us. Sometimes it feels like we're hitting basically everything except the components that could have an important effect on the battle, but again, we are not losing health this time, so I can't complain too bad. Seriously, it doesn't. I guess we need even more damage pumped into laser cavities if we want to get past this smoke. But we do have time, because the Scourge, again, can't really hit us. I find it funny that the Scourge is lasting longer than the Angstrom. Oh, we hit the missile banks again. We are dealing 2,000, 7,000, 1,000. Yeah, our damage is very inconsistent, but it's ranging around 9,000. I guess some of it has to be because we're 2 kilometers away and we're losing damage due to fall off. Let's see, stats, maybe? Ah, there we go. 2,000 meters. We're at 86% damage. Still, though, 30,000 damage being negated all the way down to 3,000 sometimes is quite the decrease. Other times, though, it seems like we're able to reach 8,000 or more. Oh, that was an explosion. Okay. Well, that was extremely boring. Let's fight the Angstrom again. You know what? Let's try something different. Let's fight... What is the Isochronus? Oh, that's a laser plane. We might die. We might die horribly. That's a plasma plane. Plasma boat. Yeah, that just one-shot us. Okay, I guess it's kind of to be expected. I don't know what we can do against that. Even if we had heavy armor, Laser's entire job is to obliterate heavy armor. So I think this thing hard counters us. Ah, man. I have been thoroughly humbled. Okay, then. Let's fight something else. Grey Talon's Godly Airship? The Harpia, maybe? Let's give it a go. Oh, other thing that hard counters us. Particle cannons. You know, like, I'm curious. Even if we do, like, auto-repair ourselves, can we even... And plasma. Okay, we managed to tank that blow. But... we're not hitting them. 200 damage. Why? Why is it so little? Because we're using 21 general processing power. And we could up that. Add some extra cameras here. Shouldn't do too much, but it should help a little bit. Let's spawn it in close, just for the funny. Okay, we can deal 15,000 damage to it and take out some of its jets. Nice. But it is still getting a lock on us. Progressively. Maybe we also need to mess with the averaging times. Let's use 0.1 seconds. Oh, IR cameras don't like chaff. Radar doesn't care. Our error is pretty high, though. Yeah, we're gonna deal 15,000 or so damage. How much did that hit do? That was an AI. Interesting. Yes, our performance does seem to have improved, to be sure. Although, I will say, some of it was probably down to dumb luck. Yep, Harpy's out of control. Okay. It does seem like we can damage much larger crafts now. We're probably gonna have to retune this... Look at that, lucky dodge. We're probably gonna have to retune the breadboard system so that we can hit smaller craft without going right through them and hitting them not enough. But just for funsies, let's go against a... What's in this 200k? Oh, how about the Hydra, the helicopter? What did that shot do? Hit right into the cannon, but only damage the recoil absorber. Okay, I'll take that. And that shot destroyed it instantly. Well, not destroy. Yep, it's AI dead. Well, against aircraft, 30,000 damage seems to do just fine. Alright, we'll see what happens next, because I think there's a couple of other things on the... Alright, well, if you watched that entire hour-long video, congratulations! We still have a couple more electronics and system integration issues to work out with the Laserbird Block 7, but we are very close to completion. In the following part, we should be finishing up the breadboard programming to add reactive directional shielding, as well as Steam combat control, and a couple of other things, and then the Laserbird Block 7 will be ready to roll out. I'll see you all next time.